What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? So, welcome to another week of cybersecurity news. So, if you have not already, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're trying to get our YouTube channel up to 1,000 subs. That gives us a little bit more options, things we can do on the channel, as well as if you have not already, lock in on Atlanta Metro's WDJY 99.1 FM. We're on there weekly. Sometimes it'll be the Other Side of the Firewall show. Sometimes it'll be the Ask CISSP interviews with those movers and shakers that I spoke about earlier. And then you can also listen to us worldwide on the TuneIn app. That's Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WDJY 99.1 FM. Also, check out our website, ramcyber.io, so you can find all of our services if you're looking for assessments or consulting and things of that nature in cybersecurity. And then last but not least, please go to theothersideofthefirewall.com where you can pick up a copy of the guide of the same name where I interviewed 26 different individuals who are people of color, neurodivergent professionals, career switchers, and veterans who all broke into cybersecurity, and they share their stories so you can learn how you can also break in as well. Without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article is from bbnews.com by Thomas Nadi. And the title of this one is Ghana arrests Nigerians accused of running cybercrime networks, right? So everybody's getting in on the game of getting control of their of these cyber gangs, right? Not letting them wreak too much havoc. But the Ghana security forces, excuse me, have arrested 9 Nigerians and they suspect them of coordinating a host of cybercrime activities from makeshift offices in and around their capital, right? So 44 others were believed to be victims brought to Ghana from Nigeria under false pretenses, right? So this was kind of interesting when I read this, right? So like we've all heard of human trafficking and how that happens, right? So people go to a country to get their passports withheld, right? And they have to perform services, usually of a sexual nature, prostitution, things of that nature, before their debt is paid and they get their passports back. And it sounds like this is something that's happening when it comes to a cybercrime being committed, right? And so as I'm reading this, I'm like, okay, well, this sounds like a human trafficking type thing. But as I start to think about it, I'm like, the reason for the show, we bring this up every week, right, is how profitable cybercrime can be, right? And it only makes sense to have this transition to where the same way you've gone into using it for, human trafficking and things of that nature. Well, that's been around for so long, and there's so many networks, there's so many offices that are looking out for that type of crime to where that's probably taking a hit. But cybercrime, we know it's going up like this, right? Like we know cybercrime is one of those things where people are profiting off of it, and it's an easy way to do things. You don't easily put yourself in harm's way, right? It's not like you're physically putting yourself somewhere where you could be detained, right? Now, I'm not saying it can't happen. We've seen it happen all the time where somebody gets detained from running a cyber gang or whatever, and it's like some type of multinational, what do you call that? Multinational strike group or whatever you want to call that, right? Like
Right, like a coalition of
coalition,
law
yeah.
enforcers or something. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen it numerous times, right? But like this makes it easy when it's cybercrime because you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to necessarily put yourself in harm's way. But again, these folks were lured to Ghana under the pretext of lucrative work. They get there, same type of thing, right? These people were being put in gated compounds, right? So like they're literally detaining them, documents confiscated, again, just like how it happens with human trafficking, right? But I think we are going to see more of this because again, cybercrime, the return on investment is a lot more when it comes to cybercrime. And again, you keep yourself out of the way, right? So, and they bring some other numbers up in here, right? So they talk about these operations that they've had. So they talk about a recent operation, and it was the arrest of a popular Ghanaian social media influencer known as Abu Tricia. His real name is Frederick Kumi, and he allegedly stole 8 million from vulnerable Americans through a romance scam. Right? Ghana is out here. They're like, hey, we gotta get on this stuff and stop getting this bad reputation. Really, right? It's
Right.
like the Nigerian prince thing, right? We kind of make a joke about it, but they're like, hey, we sick of being the butt of the jokes when it comes to stuff like this, right? Stop doing that to us. We're gonna take care of this, right? And then they talk about another operation they had, and it was a syndicate that they dismantled, that defrauded over 200 victims of $400,000. So they've been getting it in over there, right? But they're like, hey, we gotta take care of this in our own house, right? Don't make someone else do it for us, right? It's just a bad look all around. Yeah, Ghana, they out here trying to police themselves like they should, right? And good on them for doing it, right? So, what's your thoughts on?
Yeah, so I was surprised that it actually was Nigerians doing the Nigerian scams, right? Because we talk about it in the past, like Georgia district attorney found that a lot of those scams that were happening here in America were being done by Americans under the false pretenses of being out of Nigeria. So it's kind of reverse in the scam. They're using someone else's reputation to then scam people. But what really blew my mind though was that an actual social media influencer was doing it, right? Like usually people are pretending to be people of influence or actors or, things like that. Like people believe that Brad Pitt is their boyfriend online and things of that nature, right? But this guy was actually, yeah, he was using his influence to then steal $8 million is a lot of money. So he was really good at what he did. That's not the smartest to use. Maybe he used a different persona or something like that, but still, you are a person, a known person, right? So they figured it out. Not smart, but
But
yeah,
I think it was the fact that he thought because of where he was, like nothing was going to come of it, right?
yeah,
Like
be
Ghana,
untouchable.
yeah, like he's like, they don't do anything about this over here in my homeland. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
surprise.
yeah, got it. Boom, pow,
Right.
surprise.
So what stood out to me was their message on X. Oh, it's funny, it's they were meaning well when they said it. They said all the arrested individuals have been duly profiled and handed over to the Ghana Immigration Service for safekeeping and further investigation. Like safekeeping, like their equipment. But I'm glad these people were essentially rescued. Right, they're in a compound with it said like 62 laptops and pump action firearms. Like they're under lock and key basically. So yeah, trafficking is crazy, right? We talk about it in Asia all the time and their compounds. We talk about it now in Africa, how it's happening. Yeah, don't engage with scammers because you're effectively you are aiding this pipeline, right? Like, because if they keep getting money, they'll just keep those people there longer. They'll abduct more people because it's lucrative and successful. So it's the other side of the scam that we have to be careful of.
Don't make the trip. Like that's the thing, right? Like don't like if you come over there
Yeah,
thinking, and again, they lure them over with lucrative offers, right? So like it's some type of job offer or something of that nature, and they're like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna benefit from this. Yes, and especially in this day and age, right? Like employment may be hard to come by, with the prevalence of AI and things of that nature. You
right.
got these companies that are laying people off, so they're like, okay, I get to visit another country, see some good things, and get a job opportunity out of it. And then, nope, go ahead and walk through these gates and put a
Right.
shotgun in your back. You know what
Do
I mean?
not pass go.
Yeah,
Go straight to the compound. Yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty crazy. So I'm glad that they're starting to break these things up more readily across the globe. So yeah, more to come of that. I'm sure we'll see more of this.
And the thing is, I know this isn't specific to just Africa, right? Like you mentioned, there's the Asian countries that have done it. We've done a story on it, even. You know what I mean? About the one that was, I can't remember where it was, but like this is going to start happening more often. And again, because I said these people can stay out of harm's way more easily, right? When it comes to dealing with cyber or being online doing stuff, you don't have to be in an easily detectable location, right? Because they'll do a lot to hide where they are, right? Okay, they're onion routing and doing all these different things to where it's like you can't tell where I'm at, where I'm doing all of this stuff, right? Kind of like the North Korean tech workers, you know what I mean,
Right.
type
Yeah.
stuff, So we're gonna see more of this in other places.
Absolutely. So I give it back to you for topic two.
All right, everybody. So this article comes from mexicobusiness.news, and the title of this one is 2026 World Cup, oh, excuse me, by MBN staff, right? So I gotta say this. MBN staff is who wrote it, Mexican Business News staff. 2026 World Cup to stress test cybersecurity business continuity, right? So like I'm not a big World Cup fan. I know it's coming, right? I'm not one of those people that's like all of a sudden I love soccer every 4 years, right? When the World Cup comes around. But what is interesting about this is the increase of cybersecurity risk because there's three countries that are kind of coordinating the World Cup this year, right? So it's America, Mexico, and Canada, I believe, are the three that are working in lockstep to coordinate the 2026 FIFA World Cup. So because of that, when it comes to cybersecurity, it's a lot more of working together and they do things differently in those three countries, right? So like Mexico is a little bit behind and they acknowledge this. They acknowledge, hey, there's a little bit of work we have to do to get to where we are in lockstep with what may be done for cybersecurity when it comes to how the Americans deal with it, how the Canadians deal with it. But that structural lag in cybersecurity is what they call it, right? There's just a gap between policy design, technical response, capacity, things of that nature. But it's one of those things where when there is a coalition of people, right, the weakest link is always the one that needs to be the best. Well, not the best, but the weakest link will always be the way that that'll be attacked more, right? And that's what they're trying to get away from. So they're trying to, because of the complexity of dealing with three countries, they're trying to get ahead of the game and actually like strengthen everything up for the World Cup because this is a major event, right? Every 4 years you have the World Cup, and you got in Mexico, the Palatensino Nacional is the IPN that's dealing with this, right? So they're going to provide the specialized technology and personnel to federal and local authorities to secure the World Cup, right? So the technical collaboration is in the works. They are trying to make it work, technical framework, operational phases that they need to do. And there's different things they talk about in here, which as I'm reading them, I'm like, okay, this seems like the normal stuff you should be doing. But again, in Mexico, they're behind on this. They acknowledge they don't do these things as well. So like they talk about the threat analysts they need, right? Network experts, digital forensic leads, incident responders, offensive security specialists, right? And then resilience strategists that need to be implemented for this, right? So the World Cup is coming this summer, I believe, right? It's usually a summer sport. Is that right? I don't know.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think so, right?
I have no.
See, you like me, like you don't become all of a sudden a soccer fan like every 4 years, like you've been watching it, all this time.
No, if it's somewhere playing in the U.S. is playing, then I would like go USA. But yeah, I don't.
Even then, I'm like, I'm not a fan of the sport, so I don't need it, right? So, but yeah, they're just trying to. What they're talking about in here is implementing a strategy to try to do better when it comes to combating cybersecurity. So they are seeing what can happen. They are seeing the environment out there and what is a possibility, and it could be very embarrassing for them, right? Like if for whatever reason they have some type of huge cyber attack, because you're going to have all these countries from all over the world that are coming in to play these games, right? And I know they have qualifiers and stuff like that, and it may not be every country is there, but there's going to be a large amount of them, right? So you can't poop the bed on this and not do what you're supposed to do and have some type of major cybersecurity incident when you're hosting the World Cup, because then your chances of hosting in the future go way down, right? And this is a boon to economy, right? I know it's not necessarily a cyber thing, but this is a boon to their economy, right? To have all these countries come in, have all these people come in to see the games and things of that nature. So it's not just from a cybersecurity perspective they're trying to stay safe, but they're trying to make sure that they have future opportunities to take a bite of this apple to help their economy. You know what I mean? But Ryan, what's your thoughts on
No, yeah, I think this is absolutely necessary. If IPN, if you're looking for a consultant, I can't speak Spanish, but I can speak cyber. All right, holler at Ram Cyber LLC. I'll come out there and help you guys out. But no, it's good to see. I'm glad they're taking it seriously, especially because of world events. Right, we've seen numerous cyber attacks at state actor levels. Just in general, it's good to see because you always see before Olympics or a World Cup, law enforcement rolls in, right? So you have kind of like you said, a coalition of task force and LE, like law enforcement that pop up to protect first off the populace because you're going to have a huge influx of people from around the world coming in there, and then also the venue and the athletes, right? You don't want an international incident on your hands. You don't want a bombing or something like that, which occurred in the States, right? If I'm not mistaken, when I was a kid, we had a attack. Yeah, Atlanta. So they come in and do their thing. Organization I was part of, the Joint Communication Support Element, JCSE, would also go to these events to set up our tech stack and provide facilities for mission partners to do their thing. Ironically, I was almost made it to Japan. I was on, at least they told me they might have been messing with me because they knew I really want to get to Japan real bad. So they were like, "We're going to put you on the package that's going out to Japan this year," and then that was COVID year, right? So everything got shut down. We were unable to attend. At least I was unable to attend, right? But you send out lots of organizations for this, so it's good to see that they're beefing up their presence when it comes to cyber and trying to get ahead of it. Because yeah, you would hate for somebody to shut down the event or to take advantage of all of the disruption and churn from having all these people there and take down a hospital or power grid or something, critical infrastructure. That's what bad guys do, right? So I would suspect that aside from Mexico's beefing up of their infrastructure and bringing in the right partners and skill sets into the country, other countries will also, like from the Americas, right, will also come in and provide protection as well. So no, I think it's a great effort.
and they don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? Because you got the Winter Olympics that are coming up in like a week or two, right? So like maybe a week. So like they don't have to reinvent the wheel because the same type of things that they would need to do for the World Cup, they could just reach out to somebody that's working on the Olympics, which is right around the corner, and be like, "Hey, this is what we're thinking about doing. Like, what did you guys do?" Because same type of thing. You're gonna have all types of countries come over, right, to wherever it is this year. I see the commercials. I haven't really paid close enough attention. I don't pay attention to any Olympics. Maybe I'm not patriotic enough. Summer Olympics, Winter Olympics, none of them. Like I don't know. It's not my thing. But yeah, they could definitely. There's no reason to go out there and try to go at it alone and say, okay, we need to figure this out on our own. Like this has been done several times before, right? And again, there's more complexity because you have other North American countries that are dealing with this as well. But don't go at don't. I'm telling this to the IPN, right? Because I'm not going to try to pronounce your name again, right? The IPN. Reach out to other people to try to see, or to other organizations to see how they are dealing with this, because to have all these countries come and it be on a large scale, no need to go at it alone. Not one bit.
Yeah, this year's in Milan is what Wikipedia is telling me. I never know until it's happening, right? And I'm more of a Summer Olympics guy, right? So I watch Summer Olympics for like the basketball, the volleyball, track and field, all that good stuff. Winter, I check it out, but it's definitely not it's not top of mind. So I tune in whenever an ad pulls me that way, because now cable boxes are just ad machines, right? They're just like, hey, you should check out this on this channel, and so on and so forth.
I did see it as an ad. That's the only reason I know. I don't have cable, so like my
Yeah,
streaming services, right? Like I saw it. I have a live version of one of those services. So yeah, same thing. And again, I didn't even remember where it was because I was just like, all right, let me go do something else while these ads are running. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, it's. I know the Olympics. I know they have the off every 2 years or whatever. Like winter is 2 years after the summer, and then like
right.
even though they're both every 4 years, but I don't pay close enough attention to it.
Yeah,
You
it's uh Milano Cortina is where it's taking place.
Where is that even? I don't even know where that is. Is that
So
Italy? Sounds
so it's
Italian.
the yes, Italian, the Italian cities of Milan and Cortina, and I can't pronounce the second half of their name. D Ampezzo, Cortina, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
people. If you listen to us somewhere over there, I apologize. I'm so uncultured. But yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I'll probably watch the opening or whatever, and then there's a couple of sports, but again, like I don't. I'm from a place where it snows. I don't rock with the cold all like that, right? So Winter Olympics is usually not my thing. So
But that's the thing. Just because you're from there, man, don't mean that's the only thing you'll tolerate, right? Like I hear that all the time. People are like, "You're from Maryland. How you not used to the cold?" I'm like, "Cause I don't used to it. Okay, maybe, but I still bundle up. I'll put jackets on. I do all that good stuff. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? So
I'm vehemently against snow. I'm anti-snow. That's why I live in Florida now. No, thank you. But yeah, so I'll be interested to see how that continues to evolve, because like you said, every 2 years we're having these major events. So obviously we need to strengthen our cybersecurity as well as our law enforcement presence, and as well as other things, right? Like there's a good side and a bad side to the Olympics. Like it's a boon for your economy, but at the same time, it brings in a lot of trafficking, drugs, things like human trafficking, drug trafficking, and sex workers and things of that nature. So a lot happens when they blow through your town. But again, we're doing a lot more and a lot better efforts to make sure everybody is safe, sound, and they get home.
but you can see Will Smith and Margot Robbie, right? It's like Focus. What was that, the Super Bowl or whatever it was when
Yeah,
they came? Yeah, so I don't know. You might see some celebrities.
right, right, exactly. So before I push it back to you, Shannon, I just want to make sure everybody is aware. Please go to ramcyber.io to check out the services, trying to get some engagements rolling for 2026. So you could be one of the few of the short list of people, right? I'm a one man army. So if you want to do consulting, you want assessments, you think things of that nature, please reach out to me. And then we can go from there. So go to ramcyber.io as well as pick up the book. So the other side of the firewall book is at theothersideofthefirewall.com. If you would like to be on the show, please reach out to me. I'm booked out through April, which is a blessing, but we're going to be bouncing back and forth between the Ask a CISSP interviews and the show on the radio, only because I have one slot. But now I'm pretty much doing 2 shows a week. So be on the lookout for that. If you're not hearing one or the other, please subscribe, right? We're on your podcast platform of choice. You can find us pretty much everywhere. So look for the other side of the firewall podcast. Shannon, I give it to you for our discussion topic.
All right, everybody. This one comes from cybersecuritydive.com, written by Eric Geller. And the title of this one is NIST is rethinking its role in analyzing software vulnerabilities, right? So this is kind of a sad one, right? Because knowing what they do, I didn't realize it was as much of a burden as it was, right? Because I just came to accept that, okay, this is what's being provided, this is what's out there, and they do a good job of maintaining it. It gets referenced, especially in the DoD, right? Like we reference it a lot when it comes to CVEs and things of that nature. The agency's vulnerability database is buckling under a flood of submissions, right? Apparently, they're getting a lot more work than they're able to handle, right? Because it's not one of those things where they're going out and seeking this stuff, and that's the only way that it comes about. Like, people are finding things and doing submissions to put it up there, right? And then it's a matter of them putting different remediations out, like investigating it, looking at it, putting the remediations out there, right? So it's just a lot. And we actually talked about how um, there was some funding issues when it came to like CISA and what they did to contribute to this, and how there was a point where it was maybe like a week or two or so where they thought, okay, well, we're not going to do anything to contribute to this, right? Like it was not going to happen like it had been. But what NIST is going through though is that they're like, hey, and they presented this at a quarterly meeting last week, saying, hey, we have to think about kind of offloading some of this and involving more private companies and things of that nature to try to help us keep up with this flood of vulnerabilities that require analysis, right? So, because again, there was that near lapse of government funding with the CVE catalog, like it was going to go away. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's used by a lot of people, especially in DoD. It's not just DoD that's using it, but you have private companies that I know for a fact are going out there and looking at things and saying, okay, we need to make sure we're protecting against all of these big ones, because it's categorized too when you go to it, right? Like you can select and say, okay, what has this score or higher, right? Like, and I realize it's proper to say protect against everything, right? But when you have a limited budget, you're like, okay, what are the
Right.
major hitters, right? Like I can't do everything, but I could do my best to try to take care of the big stuff or what's popular right now, right? Because the stuff comes up, it shows up there at the top, and you're just like, okay, that's a new one that came out. Let's go ahead and do something with that. But something interesting in here that I saw was a program they have, which they talked about doing, which was Vulnrichment, which is enriching CVE data. And actually, when I read this, I was like, okay, this is something new. And then I looked into it. It's actually been around for a year already. So, like the Vulnrichment program, this was January of last year. They started going through and doing this, right? So, um, and even though they established it a year ago, they made an announcement on it May of 2024, right? So this is something that's been in the works for a while. So they've been struggling to keep up for a little while now, but it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, if we don't have the funding, we can't make it happen. If you don't have the funding, you don't have the people, you can't provide a good service. I guess it's one of those things where it's like, if you're not providing a good service, why do it at all? Maybe what they're thinking of, right? So, but yeah, they're pretty much in triage mode here. Is what they talk about is solving the problems that come up for the for the catalog here, right? So, but yeah, it would suck to see this go away. It really would. And this trying to kind of offload some of the responsibility or shift the responsibility. I shouldn't say offload, but shift the responsibility a little bit. Hopefully you have these private companies that are like, yes, I'm on board for this, right? Like I want to help with this, because I know it's not just one of those things where it only affects NIST and what they put out there. This can affect these companies as well, right? And if they have something to offer, which a lot of the time they do, right? Because the private companies are paying money for these big brains to be out here developing software and finding these bugs and things of that nature. It would be good to have, the private companies. And I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, well, the private companies only care about the private companies, right? And there is a little bit of truth to that, right? They are in it to make money. But them getting on board to help with this would be something that I'd love to see happen, right? So, but yeah, this is something they've been working with for the agency's been doing this. CISA's been doing this for a little while now, right? So, but what's your thoughts on this, Ryan?
So I'm of two minds. I think it would it in the back of my mind is just like, hey, why don't we just turn this into a contract and have people compete or bid on it for their different solutions, whether it be AI or they scale up to provide this. But I kind of want to put it back in the hands of the private sector because, like, I'd rather it be just funding, right? Like, government pays their piece, the rest of the world pays their piece, right? Because it's used by everyone. Everyone is using these. I think both solutions aren't great though. Like, I did like it being under this umbrella, but I get that they're being scaled out of the competition, right? Because of advancements in AI and just threat actors being just really good at their job. They're kind of getting, slammed. They can't keep up. So, like you said, what is the point if you're just pushing on a shell, right? You're not giving me anything I can take action on. That's where the enrichment process takes place. So I'm just like, how do we? I don't want to just throw AI at it or just throw money at it. So how do we keep this going? Because like you said, like the Department of Defense, Department of War, whatever you want to call it nowadays, like this, like this is the standard, right? To go in and clean up the different environments pre-inspection, post-inspection. I'm sure a lot of the Zeta is stamped into the gold disc, right? When they go and do their thing for vulnerability scanning. So it's like, who do we pay to make this better? That I don't know.
If you leave it up to a private company, though, my fear is that so just like some of these big companies have handle their cyber departments now, right? It may not be a priority to them, right? Whenever money can be cut, where do they go to? They start going
Right.
to IT and cybersecurity, right? Like, okay, we'll take a little bit less on that. So it may get funded a little less than what we would like to see, right? And that would be my fear too, if a private company is the one to take this on.
Yeah. But so and it used to be where you could say, okay, we'll fold this under a contract, right? And then a MITRE or a Jacobs or someone else can do this under a government contract. But I mean, Doge came in and slashed all types of funding, right? So that makes me scared to put it under the government's umbrella too, because they're not as it's not as secure as it used to be, right? I myself being a product of a Doge cut, so it's like, can we trust them to take this under contract, because this might be the first thing that gets slashed as well if there's a Doge 2.0 or something like that comes into.
Flashed again, Ryan,
Yeah.
again, because it, because it happened there for a short bit. They were like, no, 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 we're gonna go back to funding this.
Right. So who do we give it to? That's the part, right? It's kind of crazy. Like you would hope that someone would establish some kind of evergreen type organization that takes care of things like this, because it is necessary for the entire world when it comes to vulnerabilities. But no one is going to do it for free.
And then here's the thing: nobody cares until it directly affects them too, right? Like this is kind of the way of the world, right? Like there's stuff that happens that you're just like, I'm glad that's not me. Yeah, that sucks. I'm glad it's not me, right? So until they have to suffer because they didn't have the tool available to them or they didn't have the resources available to them, it's not a priority, right? And then when it is, all of a sudden they want to jump through all these hoops to make something happen. Like, no, 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 have the headache early, right? Just go through sustainment of having this stuff already in place so that if something does happen, you're not trying to stand it up, but you're not trying to stand it up from the ground up again. You know what I mean? Don't undo it. But I mean, the usefulness for it, and I think again, this is my background being in the military, right? Like some of these articles I read, like you and Chris very much put me on to, no, 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 that's not how it works in the civilian world. I'm like, what do you mean it's not how it works, right? Like I've been for 25 years now, I've been seeing it done this way, right? So like I don't understand what you mean, but again, like it's a different it's there's a different motivator when it comes to the private sector than what it is for the Department of Defense. So yeah, it's sad to see this happening, right? Because I have benefited from the usefulness of it, right? But and again, it kind of opened my eyes to how much was going on with it as well, right? Like I just thought it was a funding cut to be a funding cut, right? Like Doge came in and, they didn't necessarily know what they were doing, right? I'll say it, right? And they've come out and said as much now, right? Not even a year afterwards, they're like, yeah, that wasn't as intended. But yeah, we need it to stick around. We need it to stay around and NIST to get some help when it comes to dealing with this, right? And getting some backing for it.
Yeah, there's so many benefits to NIST controlling it, getting the proper funding for it, and being under the U.S. banner, right? Like we set the standard that not only aids us when it comes to cyber defense, but now we build the playbook, right? So if we do need to go offensive, we've built everyone else's blueprint, so we know how to defeat it if necessary. as well. So I don't know. Like I just think just give them the money, but that's just not how things are working right now. So we will see.
And look, you say that, right? Just give them the money, right? And we're all fine with it until all of a sudden it's directly tied to our taxes. There's like, wait a minute, what is money going to? You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Like
And
vulnerabilities,
and and
that's
I've said
everybody's
before,
job.
and I've said it before, like there are times, right, like where people are like, well, if you do that, it'll leave more taxes. I'm like, I'm all for it. Like there are certain things I'm like, I am willing to pay more taxes to have that be done correctly. You know what I'm saying? And not just from a cyber nature, right? Social things, economic things. But yeah, I'm willing to do it. You know what I mean? But make sure it's done correctly. And that's usually the thing. It's the implementation of what people are trying to say is happening, right? And I know this is a little off topic, but like here in Colorado, especially in the city I'm in, I'm starting to see these school districts say they're suffering from funding lapses, right? Well, in Colorado, for those of you that don't know, they're one of the first states to legalize weed, right? So like a lot of that weed tax money was supposed to be going to education. So now I'm like, well, what is happening? Not that I partake of it, right? It's not like you're getting any of my money, but I know I see these shops everywhere. I'm seeing green crosses everywhere around the city. You know what I'm saying? So like, where is the money going? And it's different depending on where you go, but yeah, it's a funding issue for education, and I'm like, it's directly tied to that. That was the reason this had to be like a good 12, 13, 14 years ago now where they legalized it. That was a big reason for it was to help with education. And now education is suffering. And I doubt that the usage has gone down because I see these shops coming up. I passed one the other day, man. It was crazy. I think it was called like Dime Bags was the name of it or something like that. I was like, what? I was like, okay, well, that's what it is. But yeah, so need the money to go where it needs to go, right? So I'm willing to pay it. I'm just putting it
Yeah.
out there.
So
Not by myself. I'm just saying not by myself, but yeah,
yeah, the same thing with the lotto, right? Like you see these lotto jackpots going up to $1 billion, and then a lot of that's supposed to go to the school. That's why the person only gets like a quarter of what they won, because the federal taxes, state taxes, all that stuff eats away at it. But yeah, I don't. Where's the money going? It's kind of crazy. But I digress. It's not going to the teachers. I'll tell you that much. So teachers are not getting paid what they need to get paid.
for sure. Pay teachers more. Yeah, I'm with you. A
They
second
dealing
line on this. Everybody
with your
listen up.
with your bad kids. All right, you should have to
You
pay
know,
for just that alone. It's just like it's getting so bad. I'm like, you should tip the teachers at this point, like if they're not gonna get paid right, because they're dealing with your bad child. Like, give them 25% because you know your kid is bad.
yeah, yeah. You send them off every day knowing that. And it was really during COVID where I was like, man, these teachers are really underpaid. I've always thought teachers were underpaid, but I was like, man, make them millionaires. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, the teachers should be at least a six-figure job off the rip, like to deal with what they deal with. Like they're not only counselors, but they're educators, they're counselors, they're stand-in parents. They do a lot for our children. And then, after your children are already out, you get a lot of people who are just like, well, I don't have kids, so I don't want to pay taxes on this stuff. But yeah, but then you want to complain about kids not doing right or doing what they're supposed to do. Like, you want to be a curmudgeon about it. But yeah, if you fund the schools better, maybe these kids would be more entertained and more civil when it comes to what they do outside of the school. It's your fault.
Yeah, they'd be in the school and not tagging your house. You know what I mean?
Right, right, exactly. So I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy because in Florida, it's all about the property tax. Our property tax goes towards the schools, and they want to get rid of property tax. I'm like, what's going to fund the school? Like, not that I'm pro taxes, but yeah, you need those for like I'd rather go for things like this than to go for whatever is going on in the Beltway when it comes to mismanaging our funds. But I
if they give it,
digress.
if they give it a property taxes, that's not just that. That's your police force. That's your firefighters.
Yeah,
All that
they
stuff
said
contributes to that.
it'll come from the tourists. Like there'll be more tourist tax. I was just like, in what way? Like how do you implement that? Like it just seems like they haven't really thought it out before they push it that way. And then we're not the only warm place in the world. They'll just potentially go somewhere else. So I think you need to keep collecting those property taxes. But that's just me. All right. So pivoting into how was your week, Shannon? What'd you get into?
Man, it wasn't bad. This cold weather is getting us. It's 4 degrees right here where I'm at right now. I'm warm in my house, but 4 degrees. But I know you're not used to that in Florida, but like y'all would probably fall over like the iguanas if y'all got four
I
degrees over
don't
there.
know what that feels like anymore. No, no, thank you. The pool would freeze solid if that would happen. No, thank you.
But yeah, we've had a cold snap. I mean, if you're paying attention to the news, right? Like that Arctic weather that's coming through, that vortex that's come down through America, right? Like we're getting a good bit of that. Like I said, the week has been fine. Nothing crazy to report. My wife and I had a date with one of my coworkers and his wife yesterday, where we did a board and brush. So like you have a project you pick out, you stain it, you paint it, you do all that stuff, right? It was a good time. When we were in there, I noticed I started to look outside and I was like, is it snowing again? Like it snowed a little bit. It was supposed to be way more than what it was, right? And so I know, I know a lot of people, and sometimes I say it myself and I feel bad, but I'm like, man, these weather guessers is what I call the meteorologists now. I was like, these weather guessers out here can't get it right, but I understand what's going into that, like funding cuts and things of that nature that have made their job a little bit harder, right? I don't have the tools at their disposal like they used to, but like I looked out and it was snowing a little bit, and so my youngest daughter, we had her with her aunt, right? My sister-in-law lives in town with us, and so she was enjoying her play date. So when we showed up to get her, mind you, the roads are getting slick now, right? Because it's starting to snow, it's a little cold, right? So it's melting, being a little icy. She's like, I don't want to leave. I'm like, you got to get your stuff on. We got to get home sooner than later. These roads are getting a little dangerous, baby. You know what I mean? And
Right,
on the
right,
on the way home from my sister-in-law's, there was a couple of accidents and whatnot. And I see people, and again, where I'm at in Colorado, big military town, right? So you got people from all over the country, right? That are coming here to drive, and they do not know how to drive in it, man. And like there was some people that are just like passing me up because you got to slow down, right? You got to be careful. Your conditions are not the same. And there was a guy in a car yesterday, like I thought I was gonna see him spill out right in front of us. Like the wife and I were just like, what is he doing? Like he was just speeding through, like going above the speed limit. And I'm like, bro, I was like, if you came from where I came from, you just saw two accidents that slowed us up from getting here.
right,
You know what I mean?
right,
And so like as he gets in front of me, I'm like, all right, let me give him his space because he's being a jackweed right now. And like I start to see the fishtail, and I'm like, here we go. And then it humbled him a little bit. And then
right, right. Then
like
he slowed down.
yeah,
Yeah,
he slowed down a little bit, and then he got in the turn lane. I pulled up next to him, and I'm like, this dude knows he's being a jerk. So it's one of those things where like he just doesn't look sideways. He's like, all right, like when he
yeah.
does something, you just
He's
look straight
locked in.
ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
he's locked in.
But yeah, he was being a jerk about it. I'm like, and the thing is, like, you're not just harming yourself, like you run the risk of harming other people and stuff like that happens, right? So be safe out here, folks. Like, don't overestimate your abilities, right? I know I see a lot of people here. They sell a lot of Subarus here. A lot of people here with the Subarus, they're like, oh, it's all-wheel drive. It can do everything it needs to.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
no,
what I was gonna
all-wheel
say.
drive.
Yeah, means all wheels are just spinning.
Yes, yes, 100%. Like it does the same thing on ice like a two-wheel drive will do. You know what I mean? Like it's same type of thing. Yeah, so I see a lot of Subarus and ditches and getting put up on tow beds. You know what I mean? Because people are just overestimating their abilities. And again, it I'm not going to sit here and say it's always their fault, right? But like there are people out there that do not know how to drive in this mode. But neither here nor there. Like we got home safe because we were gonna go out and get some dinner, and then like, as I start driving home, I'm like, let's get to the house. let's just, let's just get to the house and we'll eat at the house. Like we keep the fridge stocked. It's okay. We were just gonna treat ourselves. Now let's get there. But no, it was a good time, man. Had the date, came up with some good projects that we did. I'll send you some pictures. We did all right,
Okay, yeah,
And
yeah,
it's one of those things where, look, I didn't even know what project I was doing. It's one of those things where my wife picked them for us, right? And then we got there. She was like, "Which one do you want to do?" I was like, "You know how this goes. Just put me in front of whichever one you want me to do, and I'll do it." Right? I'm just here for the labor. But no, they turned out pretty good though. The instructor that was there, Emma, shout out to Emma, at Board and Brush. She was awesome, man. Left a great review for her. She was on her money. I was messing with her. I was like, "Hey, look, when people come and see this in the house, I was like, I'm taking credit for your work there, Emma. Like, I'm just putting it out there to you." She's like, "Oh, that's okay." She's like, "That's easy to do outside of this room." She said, "In the room, though." She's like, "Everybody sees where it's getting done."
right.
I'm like, "Nah, I'll give you your credit for sure." But no, it was good. It was a good time. We enjoyed ourselves. Media watching, not much this week actually, man. I haven't been watching too much. I know we got the championship games today. I'm gonna watch those. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. I hate to tell you this, Ryan. I hate to tell you.
Boo.
I think the Patriots are going to the Super Bowl, man. It's just
They just
that's what
like
I
so.
think.
I'm not a hater, but you have to think I came up from the Tom Brady days, which I
Yeah,
respect Tom Brady, right? Like I like what
right.
he's doing now outside of being on the field and what have you. Like he is the goat, but it's a lot for him to be in your division and beat you down. He went how many times? He went 11, right? Or something like that.
He went to the Super Bowl at least 10. I want to say it was 10.
Something
He's
like that.
won
Yeah, 10,
seven.
10 or 11. Yeah.
The Giants got him twice, and he lost another one. I thought. Oh yeah, he lost. Who else beat him? I want to say 10. He's gone to like 10 Super Bowl. He's done his part.
Yeah. Right. So you have to pay the tax on that, right? Now the Patriots have to suck for a decade, and that did not happen. They're right back in the game. Like, but I'm not gonna hate. It is what it is. But yeah, I think they will advance. But I was hoping for anyone else, especially the Bills. All right, like the Buffalo, like the Bills versus Seahawks. That's what I was hoping for. But it is what it is.
I mean, it's going to be a rematch because I think the Seahawks are going too. So I think it's a rematch of the Marshawn Lynch less run
Yeah,
Super Bowl, right? That's where
I
Russ did
told
his.
you the mouse put the fix in. All right. Like I'm not a big conspiracy guy, but I will forever believe this happened. Right. Marshawn Lynch in an interview said that he's going to say, I'm not that I'm going to Disneyland. I'm going to Oakland. He was going to say that. So what happens? The last play where they should give him the ball to get the game winning touchdown, they did not. Who caught it was too cute by half. Like the mouse was like, he got on the phone. He was like, you will not give Marshawn Lynch the ball, period, or you're gonna wind up in one of these Disney dungeons. All right?
You think the House of Mouse got pulled like that, man?
Yeah, yeah. They called down. It was like you will not give him the ball, and then see what happens.
You know what that explains? Why Pete Carroll got another job too. He got to coach the
There it
Raiders.
is.
Now they got him out of there, but you might be on to something, man. I ain't one for
Mouse
conspiracy
has all the
theories.
power.
Yeah, you might be right. Walt Disney's head is frozen somewhere, still running things, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Futurama is just his head in a jar, telling people what to do.
But no, I mean that's just what I think, and I could be wrong, right? Because I mean they have to come out to Denver, so they're up here. So New England, I get it. Like over there in Boston, they get cold weather too. But like I said, it's 4 degrees right now. At game time, they suspect it's going to be with the wind chill like 1 degree is going to be the game temp. I want to say, and you're at
Dome.
altitude.
Why is there no dome? Like, what is happening?
It's the same thing like like how it's been in Buffalo for years, right? Like the elements at the end of the year is to your advantage, right? That's why y'all keep drafting these strong arm quarterbacks, these guys that can plow through the snow if need be, if they're run, right? Josh Allen is not a small guy because you know that's what you need in November, December, and January in Buffalo, right?
Right.
So
But
like
there is an extreme, right? Because remember that one time we had to pivot to Detroit because there was so much snow we couldn't get out the stadium. So they had to
really,
have they moved one of our games to Detroit. They were like it's too cold, there's too much snow, so they moved our game to somewhere that's still not warm, but like it was
dome.
extreme conditions, right? So they moved us. So I'm just like 1 degree. Like somebody's
That's
gonna
what
get
they're saying.
frostbite out there. But
That's what they say.
they're warm and they're moving around, right? So they'll be fine. It's the fans that are gonna have to suffer.
Yeah, for sure. And they're willing to, right? Like I know somebody that was talking about she was going to tailgate with her sister-in-law, but she saw that temp. She was like, maybe not. It seems like that might not happen because like
Yeah,
that's too cold. Like, and they're not even really fans of the team. It was just the experience they wanted to do, right? So like, even if I'm a fan, like if my team is here and I'm a fan, like 1 degree might make it to where you know what? Nah, I'm good
yeah. If
because I
you're
got to pay all
tailgating,
the money for the tickets and the
yeah,
parking.
if you're tailgating, you have to bring one of those big barrels and dry tender, right? Like I kid you not. I went up to a training course in Charlestown, uh,
West
not
Virginia.
for yeah, West Virginia, and it got so cold one day they brought out like the literal burn barrel, and we were standing out there keeping our fingers warm, so we keep pulling triggers for the range. So I have a picture of me hovering over a burn barrel, like freezing, but it was like, hey, you paid for this course. Let's make this happen. That's gonna be you at the tailgate out there,
Not me. Not me. I ain't going.
like singing like you in New Jack City.
In the city, living in the yeah, no,
That's cold.
not worth the risk to me. Like I just can't. And here's the thing: if I was to do something like that, more than likely it would be me and the wife, right? So I can't put her through that. We did a game. We did a game in Baltimore years ago, right? And it was in November, and that was too cold, right? Like I had to buy a blanket at the stadium. I still got the blanket. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at the blanket right now that I bought from that game on my love
Right.
feet. over here. Like I'm looking at that blanket. I still got it, but we had to buy a blanket because it was a bit much for her. She was like, and here's the thing. I love my wife. I'm in love with my wife. She does it for me, right? It's one of those things where she ain't a big football fan like that, but she's like, hey, I got us some tickets to a game. Let's go do it. I'm like, let's do it, baby. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it. She does a lot for me that I know she don't want to do. So, but yeah, that's my week, man. Like not much media watching. Gonna see what these games turn out to be, and then in a couple weeks we'll see who the Super Bowl ends up in. I could be wrong. It could totally be Denver and the Rams, right? Like that
That
would be
would that
something
would
different.
yeah, that would throw me off. I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Then everybody's gonna start staring at the colors to see if somehow
Yeah.
his color combination was predictable, right? It's always those conspiracies, the NFL writers making it happen. But yeah, I would be surprised. I think it's going to be the Patriots versus the Seahawks, but we'll see. Like I have one Seahawk fan, so I'm rooting for him if that is the case. But aside from watching the games today, I still haven't watched The Running Man. Like I was going to cut it on a night or two ago, and I realized it was over two hours. I was like, hey, no way I'm going to make it through that. I just started too late, so I have to watch it earlier in the day. Um, so the previous weekend we celebrated my oldest, so my daughter's 20th birthday. That's crazy. 20 years old. So that was a good time. We got her lots of cash and took her wherever she wanted to go to eat. So that we had fun. But yep, I got a 20-year-old now. And then this weekend we went to main event for our youngest. Our youngest turned 11, so we went to main event with him, and I think he had 10 friends, turned to 11 friends. So where does this extra kid come from? But they had a blast. They had a really good time, and then that turned into an impromptu sleepover. And I was like, man, listen, y'all kids are working us, but he's having a good time, and he deserves it. Like he's awesome kid. So weird. They had a nine-year age gap's crazy between the two of them. And then what else did I do? I obviously watched my Bills lose, broke my heart.
That petition, man.
Oh,
So I sent that
the
thing to
petition to
you.
bring back McDermott. I'm more surprised at McDermott getting fired than I am of us losing, right? Like we lost. There was a bad call at the end. However, the four turnovers before that did not help us, right? Did not help our case. But then they let McDermott go, and I'm just like, I get why you would do it because you again, Josh Allen's going to his prime and all that other good stuff. However, I don't see anybody in the coach like in the free agency of coaches right now who could be better than McDermott. So you would keep him until somebody better popped up. Maybe a Tomlin, but I don't think Tomlin's coming to Buffalo.
Here's my thing about that. And when it happened, I was like, yes, it was due. And I said this because Josh Allen's prime is being wasted. So here's the thing. Don't just think about this year, right? Think about the game that was the 13 seconds, right? Think about
Right,
last
right.
year in the AFC Championship. Like it is an accumulation of things that got to this point. It's not just this one year with the bad call and you're like, okay, he's got to go. Josh Allen was MVP last year, right? You got to build on that. You can't keep having it. And this is why we got rid of Harbaugh too. Like Lamar's prime, Lamar's on the back end. He's on the tail end of this prime. Like that is, I truly believe that. Right, the injuries are mounting. He uses his legs a lot, and it's all lower leg injuries. Right, it's not like he had arm surgery or anything like that. It has been hips, knees, ankles, feet. Things of that nature. You can't waste it. And McDermott. And here's the thing: my buddy from work, Buffalo fan, right? He was like, "We are going to regret this." He said, "We are going to go through that point where we just had that terrible run where we were not good." He was like, it's going to be bad. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I said, it may just be the change that's needed, right? As much as McDermott was loved, and apparently he's very loved in that locker room, nobody hated him in the locker room. They were like, they loved the guy. Hence the petition, I guess. Like,
Yeah,
that's why we
50,
started
so
by a
up to
player.
50,000 signature. I said sign it yet, but I will. But they're not gonna bring him back. They already made the decision. They already burnt that bridge. He might be on to some other prospects or whatever. But then they just keep digging themselves a hole. So not only getting rid of him surprised me, but then to double down and promote our GM. Like so for years people have been calling for the GM and McDermott to be let go. But you promote the GM and you let McDermott go, it just doesn't make sense. And now they're doing interviews where they just make themselves sound worse and worse. Like they don't know what they're doing. So we'll see who we pick up. Like maybe our OC will move up, but I think he has prospects to go somewhere else. He's already done the legwork. It's like now, okay, let me go to another institution. Again, I don't know if Tomlin is a choice. Philip Rivers is interviewing with us. Not saying anything bad about the guy as an athlete, but I just don't see him being our head coach and succeeding. And then the last piece of it, who was it? Belichick even said this was a mistake. He was like, y'all should let McDermott. So
I disagree. I disagree. You're just not. you're not getting the best out of your talent with McDermott. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy or anything like that, but
Right.
there just needs to be a change made. That's just what it is. But and here's the thing, your coordinator, Joe Brady, for people that don't know, right? Like, and I remember I was going back and forth with you. I was like, maybe we'll hire Joe Brady, and then I sent you the Grinch
Yeah. Over over.
because yeah, he's done good things, right? Like he first came to prominence because he was on LSU when Joe Burrow was at LSU, which I feel differently about Joe Burrow. I don't like him, but when he was at LSU, he won a national championship there, right? And then he's gone to other places to where the offenses have looked great. Like he was there
Right.
to make Josh Allen an MVP, right? Because McDermott's a defensive guy. It's not like McDermott was the one that was coaching
Right.
him to be like he's a defensive guy. So that's Joe Brady's doing. You know what I'm saying? So he might that might be what they had in mind. It's like, okay, let's just promote Joe Brady and go from there, right? And maybe things will change, right? Because it's one of those things where there are great defensive coordinators out there, there are great defensive minds where you can find them, right? Because like you saw, I don't know if you saw, but up in Minnesota, like they re-signed Flores because they knew he was going to get some action, right? They're like, okay, come back to make this defense good again. You know what I mean? So like, there's good defensive coordinators out there that might be looking for a change of scenery. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Right. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like everybody's shuffling, right? Like it's the most coaches I've seen get let go and then get shuffled around. So
It was like 10 jobs available. That was crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like hey, just get us over the hump, right? Like we couldn't get to the playoffs. Now we're what do they call us a perennial playoff team. Okay, cool. Now get us to the big game. So we'll see what happens from there. Not a lot of media watching, right? I'm caught up on the pit. Show's excellent, just as before. And I've been looking for some older anime, right? I missed the 90s style anime, right? It has a certain feel to it, right? It's nostalgic. So I've been looking for a few of those. Then game playing, I started The Witcher 3, so it's a huge game. I'm not really a Witcher fan, so I'm trying it out. I said I would give myself 10 to 15 hours because it's right now it's a bunch of them just teach me how systems work and it's all new to me, right? So I'm just like I can't hold this against the game because then I play Witcher 1 and Witcher 2. So I'm learning from scratch on this humongous game. But yeah, I bought the complete edition. It's like $10. Game for 2015. They've since added a bunch of downloadable content and graphic patches, so it looks amazing. Right, you can tell it's a little bit older, but it's still like when the sun hits a certain angle, like everything just looks gorgeous. So I'm going to try it out. I'm not going to say I'm going to finish this 100+ hour RPG, but I want to at least see what all the hype's about because people have been talking about The Witcher. It says forever. I just never dabbled and I have no backup until February. So the end of February is when Resident Evil 9 comes out. So at least I have that much time with it to see if I enjoy it or not. But that's pretty much it for me, man. I don't really have much going on the next couple weeks except for like some really good interviews that are in the can that I'm editing and what have you. And yeah, just getting the new year started.
It's never a bad thing, right? Get the new year started. I feel like they're flying by faster and faster now.
Yeah.
For sure for me. I'm like, man, I get to the end of the year, I'm like, this year flew by, man. Like, what is going on? And you
Yeah.
know what's crazy is that my parents told me this. They told me it'll happen. Like the years will just fly by. Like you'll have your own kids and the time will fly. And I'm like, nah. It's like it's going slow. I'm living it up. Young dude life. You know what I mean? Nah, I got these kids, man. They wearing me out, man. They wearing me out. They want to do fun stuff all the time. I'm like, all right, I'm down. And
Right.
you know, it's crazy. My youngest daughter, she kind of snapped at me yesterday, because she had a shirt and it said allergic to mornings, and I said, "Hello, Miss Allergic to Mornings," and she was just like, "Dad!" And she starts getting at me. I was like, "Hold on." I was like, "Come here." Like, it's my youngest who I spoil, admittedly so, right? I spoil. She's a girl. I spoil her. The youngest. She's the last one. And I was just like, man. And my wife and I were talking about it later, and she was like, yeah, she was like, she was a little iffy. You know, I think because she didn't want to leave my sister-in-law's, right? Like she was having fun and she was like, I don't want to go. And we brought her
Oh,
home. Like,
okay.
look, it was a temporary thing. She was just babysitting you while we went out on a date night. Like that's all it was, right? So I don't know. Maybe she was still holding resentment from that because dad brought her home. I'm like, this your home,
Right.
girl. This where you live. You can't live with your aunt. Everybody who no longer lives in the house gets love from her. Her sister, her oldest sister, lives out on her own, loves when she comes over, she forgets about us. You know, her aunt when she comes over, she forgets about us. I'm like, girl, we look, your mother and I are the ones providing for you, right? Like,
Right. Right. We made all this happen.
yeah, what is going on here? You are ours. You belong to us. Yeah, she was a little snippety, and I was like, hold on now. Now I don't get on her like I do my boys. My boys get it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was just like, what is going on? And then when she walked upstairs to her room, I was talking to my wife, and she was kind of had a smirk on her face, and I think it's because she was like, and I know this is the case. She's like, yeah, she ain't your little princess now.
Right,
Like,
right.
that's what she's
Go
thinking.
go ahead and get it. Yeah, go ahead and get it.
What is up with this? I was like, what's up with my kids treating me like this lately? I don't know. The joy of having children. I wouldn't trade it in for anything except for maybe $10.
There you go.
Give me ten
Yeah,
dollars. You can have
exactly.
these kids.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Oh, yeah, and I did STEM night. So I did STEM night at my son's grade school. It was a good time, right? They set me up in the classroom as the kids came through. I told them about internet safety and stuff like that. I didn't know the venue, so now I know. So next time I'll probably set up like some games and candy for prizes and stuff like that. I didn't know what I didn't know. So, next year it'll be more fun for the kids. But good, the parents had more questions than the kids had, so it was good. It was a good time. But that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and land this plane. So definitely continue to check us out on a weekly basis. We have new episodes every week on the podcast platform of choice, right? You can also check us out Tuesdays at 5 p.m. on Atlanta Metro's WDJY 99.1 FM or on the TuneIn app, stream worldwide. Again, we'll be flipping between our interviews and our weekly show. And then please subscribe to our YouTube channel. So we are trying to hit 1,000 subs this year. So I know we can do it. Just have to tell people, please subscribe, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And then the newsletter has grown as well. I think we're at like 2,200 subs on that one. And that comes out weekly as well when the shows roll out. So thank you again for checking us out. Head up to the websites to go by our name. Go to ramcyber.io. If you want to catch up on all of our services, reach out to me if you're looking for consulting and assessments, things of that nature. Go to ryanwilliamssenior.com. That's where you can see all of my stuff, right? So all my projects, RAM, the podcast, all that good stuff, the books on there. And then finally, check me out on LinkedIn. So you can go to @Security Guy. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active there. Please reach out, connect with me. Obviously, Shannon's in incognito mode. You will not be able to find him. So if you look for Shannon, hit me up. But with that being said, stay safe, stay secure.